Have you ever looked at your life and thought, is it too late for me to make a change? I used to ask myself that all the time. But then in my 60s, I took a leap and changed careers. And it was easier than I expected. Today, I want to share with you why it wasn't as hard as I thought it would be, and how you might be closer to making your own change than you realize. If you've ever felt stuck or wondered if you missed your chance, this conversation is for you. I'm Dr. Geneva, and for over 30 years, I've helped organizations and communities transform, raising over $100 million and building partnerships. I served as CEO of nonprofits, worked with every Detroit mayor and Michigan governor, and thought I had my career all figured out. But when I decided to change careers in my late 60s, I faced my biggest reinvention yet. Not only was I building a new business, but 2 months in, my husband got sick. So did my parents. I became a caregiver. And shortly thereafter, I lost them all. And here's the thing, though, that I learned through all that. Transformation isn't just about changing jobs. It's about finding strength and purpose, particularly when life be throwing you them curveballs. And but it can be easier than you think. And that's what I wanted to talk about today. Let's start with why change feels so hard. Build up stories in our minds. It's too late. Or do I have the skills? Or what if I fail? But the truth is, the biggest barriers are usually the ones we create for ourselves. I've reinvented myself many times throughout my career, from social worker to nonprofit executive to entrepreneur. And every single time, the hardest step was always that first step. Here's what I've noticed. We spend more time imagining all the ways things could go wrong than actually trying. When I was thinking about leaving my secure nonprofit position, I had convinced myself that I was too old to learn new technology, that I didn't understand social media, that younger entrepreneurs had all the advantage. Think about it. Have you ever talked yourself out of something before you even tried? That's what I did too. But once I took action, I realized that the fear was much bigger than the reality. Let me be direct here. The only thing standing between you and change is the story you keep telling yourself about why you can't. I spent months telling myself I was too established to start over. But you know what? That establishment, that wisdom, all of that I had learned became my foundation. If you're feeling stuck, ask yourself, what stories are you telling yourself about change? Are they really true or are they just holding you back? Write them down, look at them, and challenge every single one. Now, let's talk about the myths. People say, you too old, or you'll never catch up, or young people got all the energy. But here's what I've learned. Experience is your greatest asset. You bring wisdom, resilience, perspective that younger people are still developing. When you're 60, you've already solved problems, managed crises, built relationships, survived setbacks. That's your competitive advantage. When I was caring for my family and building my business at the same time, I realized it's not about being perfect. It's about showing up, even when it's hard. Young entrepreneurs may have the energy, but we have endurance. We know how to prioritize. We understand that not every day will be perfect, and we got to keep going on anyway. I remember being in a business meeting while trying to coordinate my husband's chemotherapy appointments on my phone. Now, a young entrepreneur might have seen that as a distraction. I saw it as proof that I could handle multiple priorities and still deliver results. And you know what? People really respect that. They see your courage and your willingness to keep on going no matter what life throws at you. Clients actually trusted me more because they could see I understood real life challenges. The myth that we can't learn new things, completely false. I learned more about technology, social media, and digital marketing in my first year of business than I had in the previous decade. The difference is that now I had the confidence to ask questions and the wisdom to focus on what actually matters. So don't let those myths hold you back. You're never too old to start something new. So, what actually made it easier for me? Let me share that with you. First, I leaned on my background in transformation. I knew how to adapt because I helped entire organizations change, and I use those same skills every day. I treated my career change like a strategic planning process. I set quarterly goals, I identified my strengths, I created action plans. The skills that helped me develop multi-million dollar budgets, I translated into managing my own stuff. And that's one of the beauties of making these transitions when we're in the 50s, 60s, 70s, because we have skills and strengths and experience that we can lean on as our foundation. Secondly, I asked for help, and this was huge. I reached out to mentors and friends and even online communities. For instance, when I was struggling to understand social media for my business, I found an online community of techie folks who help small businesses, many of them much younger than me, but they were incredibly generous with their knowledge. I also invested in a business coach who specialized in working with mature entrepreneurs. You don't have to do it alone. And asking for help isn't a sign of weakness, it's inspired wisdom. Third, I focused on small wins, progress, not perfection. Every little step counts. When I felt overwhelmed by everything I needed to learn, I would just set daily goals and I'd say I'd figure this out one day and tomorrow I'll figure out another thing. And these small victories were meaningful and helped build the confidence. But I found out that, I just didn't have to do it all at once. It was okay for me to every day um, get something new, learn something new. In fact, it became fun because I would say, well, tomorrow I'm going to do this, and next week I'm going to learn that. So it became fun. Fourth, I leverage my existing network in ways I never had before. Instead of starting from zero, I reached out to colleagues and board members and community connections. Many of them became my first clients or referrals for me. Your network is there. You just have to use it differently. And finally, I gave myself permission to grieve and to grow at the same time. You don't have to have it figured all out. While I was mourning the loss of my husband and parents, I was also building something that honored their memory and my values. So if you're having a tough time, like I did with this caregiving and the loss, know that it's okay to take things one day at a time. Transformation isn't about being fearless. It's about moving forward in spite of how scared you feel. Now, how can you use these lessons in your own life? Let me give you a concrete framework. Start by challenging your own stories about change. Ask yourself, what's one small step I can take today? Not next month, not with everything is perfect today. Maybe it's researching one program, making one phone call, or having one conversation about your ideas. Remember, you don't have to have all the answers. I certainly didn't when I started. Just take action and the path will become clearer as you go. When I began my business, I had no idea I'd be speaking internationally or writing books. I just knew I wanted to help people and I wanted to do my own thing, start my own business. So if you're feeling stuck, remember to reach out for support. There's so many people who want to help you succeed. Join online communities in your area of interest. Find a mentor, hire a coach. Invest in yourself the way you've always invested in others throughout your career. Create what I call a transition timeline. Don't expect to change everything overnight. Give yourself 3 to 6 to 12 months to explore, plan, and make these changes. This reduces the pressure and makes things feel more manageable. And most important, give yourself permission to grow, even when life is tough. Change is possible, no matter your age or circumstances, your experience, what you've been through. Remember, that's your superpower. If any of this resonates with you and you're ready to stop wondering what if and creating your next chapter, I have resources to help you take those steps with confidence. So listen, tell me, what's your one change you're thinking about making? Drop me a comment below and tell me. Let me know the stories you've been telling yourself about why you can't make this change. I read every comment and I want to hear from you. Remember, you're never too old to reinvent yourself. Change is possible even in the toughest times that we're facing. And your next chapter could be your best chapter. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you the next time for more inspiration and transformation. And if this gave you value, please subscribe and leave me those comments. See you next time.